cutting deep like a blade is habitual. Go on their bands, it's looking like a ritual. Stand running out, so I move like a criminal. Bloodshot, vision block, I'm pivotal. Sail on my way like a pirate, I'm cursed. Smoking my sins, bro, the ghost in a hearse. Lighting my wrist, it be shocking the earth. If time is money, then my watch got hurt. Shorty dance on the pole like a preacher. Hardcore, turn love to a creature. Devil whispering across to my leisure. Lights a bomb, every step it get me no. Time ticket, gotta run it up for a flat line. Big bag, count it up, blow it like a landmine. Live fast, die young, demons in the moonlight. No rewind, ain't no second chance at this life, nah. I've been fighting the clock, I've been ducking the reaper. Wrote my name in a book, made a deal with a demon. Looking deep in the smoke, I see all of my secrets. Ain't no mask for the pain, so I sip on the ether. More money, more envy, that's how it go. She call me Da Vinci, I paint on her throat. Time running out, so I go for the smoke. Tidal wave flex, I'm too big for the boat. Diamonds dancing, got them freezing in place. Speed racer, never see me hit brakes. Time never waits, so I never delay. Bury my ops, got them sleeping away. Time ticket, gotta run it up for a flat line. Big bag, count it up, blow it like a landmine. Live fast, die young, demons in the moonlight. No rewind, ain't no second chance at this life, nah. Chain swinging, but I move like a phantom. Devil in Prada, he whispering ransom. Life like a dice, I'm rolling for random. Blast through the night, leave a scar for the anthem. I ain't ready for this shit. Time ticket, gotta run it up for a flat line. Big bag, count it up, blow it like a landmine. Live fast, die young, demons in the moonlight. No rewind, ain't no second chance at this life, nah. Time ticket, gotta run it up for a flat line. Big bag, count it up, blow it like a landmine. Live fast, die young, demons in the moonlight. No rewind, ain't no second chance at this life, nah.
Oh, brother, oh, brother, oh, brother. Good morning, and welcome back to another episode of the Matt Kohrs Show, where I'm Matt, your Kohrs, and maybe, just maybe, we can put this show together. Folks, I have to be honest with all of you. I am one stressed out Sally. You could call me Stress Sally today, because I have a lot of money in the market, and the market has not been doing what I need the market to do. I think I got a little bit too amped up on Friday with Jerome Powell and Jackson Hole. I'm like, great, we have some good news. I was disciplined. I was sitting on my hands. I was waiting for the event. And then as I made in many videos and also even in shows with you guys, I was like, okay, this is going to produce the next big trend. Just identify the trend early and hop onto it, and you should be rewarded by the market gods. And I took my own advice, patient, waited for the trend to develop, took advantage of the trend, and the trend ain't trending. In fact, I mean, it was just crypto got destroyed over the weekend. It still sucks now. It's at 110. We did have a good first half of the day yesterday, and then everything started coming down, and it puked into close, and the puke into close, it ended up busting up some of the premium that I sold by like $1 or $2. And then, of course, the first 10 minutes back, dude, it's all over the map today. We're all over the map. And it's driving me nuts. It's driving me like absolutely up the wall on that point. And as you're going to see, dude, I got like way too greedy with Icarus yesterday. So Icarus was doing fine, made some money. You saw that Icarus like kind of lost some money and then had a winning trade. And then I did some manual trades and made it back. And then I sat there and I was bored. So I started manually trading. And of course that always ends poorly. And I think I was doing that. Like if I were to self-therapize, if I were to do like a breakdown of my own psychology, I think it's because I was like in the back of my mind just trying to like stay away, but like kind of also pay attention because I had all those swing positions on, and this is just not breaking the way I need it. And then you can imagine my surprise yesterday where I'm like, okay, like things are pretty bad, but it's like manageable. We haven't like legitimately broken down. And even though it sucks, you're like, your risk hasn't been hit. I'm like, okay, the play is the play. You got to stick to the math. Like math runs this game. You could have the logic and the emotions. And granted, when money's in play, you're always going to be emotional, but like just stick to the logic. And I was like, okay, cool. Like no problem. Like, hey, like we all have the emotions. Just like stuff it down. Like just do what you need to. And then I started getting all these alerts on my phone late last night. Just like all these alerts of futures market puking, options puking. I was like, what the fuck happened? And then I open up social media and I realized that President Trump is trying to fire a Fed governor, which is insane. And I was like, honestly, like we can't have one fucking nice thing, dude. Like, oh man, I feel like I'm just I'm being tested right now as a human. My sanity, like we were on one final tether to reality, and at this point I'm thinking, what in the world is going on? So today we're going to do the full breakdown. I'll let you know the crazy news of Trump and Lisa Cook and how he's trying to fire her for this whole mortgage thing. Then we have some other news related to the trade war, specifically our trade relationship with China. And then obviously this is all on the eve of NVIDIA's reporting tomorrow. So we have craziness as it relates to the trade war, as it relates to monetary policy, and that Bachelor-esque level drama scenario. And then really with respect to the market, it's kind of a stall out day today and tomorrow because we're all waiting for NVIDIA, which reports after the market closes tomorrow. So it's going to be craziness. And like, I'm just trying to not sever my final tether to reality between now and then. And then in the meantime, I guess I'm just apparently blowing out fucking Steam accounts like it's no other. And I think I just need to go for a run. Like I actually had this idea this morning when I was getting ready for the show to chit chat with all of you to see what's going on, breaking on the data. And I was doing some coding early this morning, a little bit of back testing. And I really did have this idea, and this is how I know I'm going like really like final form crazy. I was like, dude, maybe you should just go run a marathon today. Like maybe that's what I need to do, is just right after this, just throw on my shoes and just go full Forrest Gump and just keep running until I can't run anymore. The chance of me being able to pull this off, 1%, maybe it's not zero, maybe it's like 0.1%, but like I think I just need to do something so extremely physically difficult that my mind has no capability of thinking about anything else. I can't think about the market, this, that, the other thing. I need something that is so like just cardiovascularly intensive that it's like just focus on not dying should be like the goal of the day for me. So I don't know. That's how, when I started having that thought, and like when it started to get like my brain started to iterate on it and then focus on it, it's like, yeah, no, maybe you should do that. Yeah, no, that's a good idea. That's when I was like, all right, man, you're going like, this is getting a little fucking nuts. So I don't know. We're going to see how this one plays out. But in all reality, I'm starting to think that you guys come to this show not to talk about the market and trade. I think you're here to like, over many, many shows, slowly but surely watch the demise of my life. Like that's what it feels like. You are watching someone like actually fall into the abysses of insanity, and like just every year is like a new chapter in this like very long, painful series. And you're like, you guys are going to look back at the end of this and you're like, yeah, we watched it, season 1, 2, 3. And like, by the time he hit season 7, 8, 9, he just went fully fucking nuts. Like I think you guys have secret meetings without me, is what I'm trying to say. And you're like, okay, cool. We're going to watch this guy. Like it's not disproven that maybe you guys are all psychologists and you're just tuning into this show to watch me go fucking nuts. Like, you know, Like, I think like you guys might be students, maybe you're PhD level, maybe you're running a practice or something, and it feels like someone's like writing the DSM-6 and you're trying to upgrade and redefine the question of like what is insanity. And I feel like I'm somehow just the person that you guys are like, get a fucking load of this guy. This is the guy we got to like tune into right now. This is the guy who like this. Like we got to get right in this book soon. Like, I don't know. It's just an idea, and I don't think I'll be able to ever disprove it. But I kind of feel like the cop from Dexter, where I'm like, I'm on to you guys. Like, I know you're in here. I know you're in here. Anyway, we should probably talk about the stock market. Stock futures slip as Trump escalates attack on Fed independence, and he certainly is. As much as I thought yesterday sucked and I lost a lot of money, then in post-market trading, this whole thing made it way, way worse. Right now, we're pretty much at the low and the closing value of yesterday on the SPY, and then on the Qs, we're halfway in between the low and the closing value. So Bitcoin kind of going flat at 110. Not long ago, it was at 117. And then NVIDIA just obviously talking about the fact that it has earnings tomorrow after market close, kind of paying attention to that, but it's actually slightly green in pre-market trading. How's Tesla doing? Slightly red. All right. It's chilling at 345, almost hit 350 yesterday. So the big news is what in the world is going on in the mind of the president of the United States. Uncharted waters. Trump's attempt to take charge of the Fed, the president's intention to fire Fed Governor Lisa Cook could give him sway over the central bank's rate setting power. So if you want to know why he's firing her because she was appointed by Biden, and he kind of views her thoughts and opinions of monetary policy to be against what he wants. Now, what he's using as his reasoning to fire her relates to the world of real estate. And I believe within a 2-week, maybe a 3-week period, she listed 2 different residences as her primary residence, which technically is mortgage fraud because of the rate you get. It's a higher rate if it's not your primary residence most of the time. So they're saying, well, hang on, how do you have 2 different primary residences? If you ask me, it's probably one of those things that, like, to the letter of the law, it is probably illegal. But it's also one of those things that, like, who cares type of a thing, because all it is it just means that the bank took on more risk. And I don't know if you're paying your loan. I don't know. It feels like a reach, but regardless, this, what I'm referring to as a reach, is starting to get some very serious steam. Trump tells Feds Lisa Cook she's fired and says she's responding by saying he has no authority to do so. So really, really awkward. Like, can you like actually, like, what do you do the next day at work? Like, do you think she's showing up to the office today when, like, the president of the United States says you're fired? President Donald Trump said he's removing Federal Reserve Board Governor Lisa Cook from her position. This is making, like, first of all, I think it's a different discussion of what she did, appropriate or not, to be able to have her position. For the president to come in and say you're fired, that's a really, really bad precedent that it's setting, because remember, the Fed is supposed to be politically independent, and in the future, whether Trump or any future president, this idea that they can come in on a whim and start firing people just because they don't like what they're doing with monetary policy, that is a really, really slippery slope. But I guess we're going to find out. I suppose, really, this is probably going to get to the point where some court's going to have to, like, rule upon this. It's actually a really, really wild story. Trump said there is sufficient reason to believe Cook had made false statements on one or more of the mortgage agreements. So this is, once again, the reasoning of getting fired isn't because of his distaste for her opinion on monetary policy. It's all because of these false statements related to the mortgage applications. I will not resign, said Cook, who hired a high-profile attorney. So it sounds like this is just going to get caught up in the legal system. Trump has complained for months that Fed Chair Jerome Powell has not lowered interest rates. That's really what this is about. So as much as they want to say it's just these statements, no, it's getting dolled up. Like, they're just putting makeup on a fucking pig here. So this is gonna be wild. I think this is gonna be really, really wild. Trump moves to fire Feds Cook, setting up a legal fight. But to my understanding, these legal fights are going to take forever. So in reality, like, are we just not even going to get the solution in like that time? Like, it could take months to figure this one out, maybe even years.
Yeah, Danielle, we're just hearing now, according to the Washington Post, Lisa Cook says she will not resign. She disputes President Trump's authority to fire her. She also says that no cause exists for the president to fire her either. This is according to reporting from the Washington Post. So Lisa Cook refusing to step down and disputing the president's authority to force her out. Polka, I do want to return to you now for some more thoughts on this. I mean, what's the more urgent concern for the Fed at the moment? Threats to its independence and credibility, or is it just good old inflation and employment data as we count down to that September meeting?
Remember, PCE this Friday.
To Daniel's point, I would like to add there that there is the point around not questioning the integrity of the governors and that they will act in according to their responsibilities. However, investors are a little more fickle than that. Investors get more worried about it. So it's also about what signaling this is sending is very important to keep in mind when you're thinking about market reactions. In terms of the September meeting, I think one rate cut is baked in, 25 basis points. I don't think that there will be much, there won't be too much of an inflation surprise to change that decision. Labor market, it's not weak, but it is showing signs of weakness. So it is probably the right time for the Fed to not be too behind the curve on that. But this actually throws, this action this morning throws a lot in the spanner in which you question the decision that the Fed is taking. Is it under pressure from the White House, and is that why this decision was taken? So there's going to be a lot of questions that will be raised by investors, and the decisions will be made based on that.
Does any of this political pressure cause you to adjust your thinking around rate cut bets and timing, or like the Fed, are you just continuing to look at the data and look at market conditions?
No, we have to look at everything. I mean, all this plays a role in it. I think markets will factor in a more dovish Fed going forward, especially after.
And she's getting that from the commentary from Powell on Friday. Right now, it's about an 80-20 chance, 80% chance of that 25 bips rate cut in that September meeting. But remember, the major thing that's going to influence that is this Friday we have the PCE report, and next Friday we get the unemployment numbers. Those two data drops are 100% going to be the final things, the most important things of are we getting the rate cut in September or not.
Jerome Powell's term is over, and there may be some euphoria in the market because of expected lower rates in the short term, because remember, there's the short-term traders, there's the long-term investors, but the risk to the longer term, and we are long-term investors, we are more concerned about what it does to the U.S. economy on the whole.
Danielle, I just want to end this conversation with some of your views. There's a move against Lisa Cook. She's refusing to go. Once this is over, though, do you suspect there might be more pressure on other Fed governors to go? Or do you suspect President Trump, if he manages to secure a majority of his own appointees on the board, that will be enough? When are we going to see the end of this is basically what I'm asking.
Gosh, you know, Paul, I wish I could even begin to venture a guess as to when we see an end. 12 months ago, I would have never thought that I would have seen this happen, much less see the head of the Bureau of Labor Statistics be called down from her post as well. You know, to Polko's point, everything right now makes us very nervous, including whether or not there's a next person who may or may not be in the crosshairs. And for that matter, whether or not we're going to be getting good data coming out of the new Bureau of Labor Statistics as early as September the 5th. So many open questions. I wish I could be more definitive on what the U.S. president is going to do next.
it's going to be a giant wait and see. But we're going to find out pretty shortly. Obviously, PCE report this Friday, unemployment next Friday, and in between now and then, we also have NVIDIA's earnings. Those are the three things. For those of you who didn't watch the update video yesterday, those are the three things that are going to decide, is it the recent high a temporary high, and we're going to push higher and higher and higher, or is that the actual high, and we're about to take a transition to the downturn? But right now, just because we're talking about the odds, as of this morning, the Fed Watch tool is saying there's an 84% chance of a 25 bips rate cut by the end of, or excuse me, by September 17th. And by the end of this year, we are looking at really, there's a 35% chance I actually have 75 bips. So that's not too bad. Looking at the poly market numbers, you can see right when Jerome Powell started speaking right here, 9:30, and then by 10, the odds of a no change really plummeted, while the odds of a 25 bips really spiked. Once again, this was the reaction right away to the 10 a.m. Jackson Hole Symposium last Friday. It feels like we're just living our life by every single Friday at this point. Anyway, as of now, it's about, I don't know, 80 to 20, 80% chance of a 25 bips decrease, roughly a 20% chance of no change whatsoever. But remember, these odds are not like etched in stone. This is going to change quite a bit, probably starting tomorrow, but really get going Friday, and then really get going the Friday after that. The stars are aligning to push short-term U.S. yields even lower. So I had this idea. I had this thought that I want to share with all of you. Yesterday, when it came out, the market's initial reaction, we just ended up kind of puking. Like, we're like right here last night. You could see it when this came out around 20 o'clock, 8 p.m., the market took a hit. And I thought, okay, that, like, you see the news and you can tell that the market is like kind of uncertain about all of this and it's not really feeling the vibe. And then I thought, do I think that this is appropriate whatsoever? No. But remember, I'm a greedy little fuck, and I care about my trades. I care about my positions. I care about me making money more than I do, like, the morals of what's going on with politics and the Fed. And I thought about it. I was like, okay, cool. The market is having this reaction just because of the quote-unquote Fed independence, and, like, that's being threatened by Trump's current actions. And you might agree with that. You might disagree with it. Whatever. I don't care. Don't want to get political on that one. Then I thought to myself, but hang on. This actually could cause the market to go up, because right here, like, if anything, it's increasing the odds of a Fed rate cut. Like, think about what's going on. Whether, like, I don't know, there's posturing from the administration, whether they successfully get out, like, somewhere in that particular gradient, the odds of a rate cut are going to start to go up. Like, just her getting removed, the threat of her getting removed. And once again, I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but I'm saying, like, if we actually think about the implications of this step and, like, what it does, if anything, it's kind of removing a Fed member or potentially moving a voting FOMC member. And all of a sudden, if that's a new person who's going to give Trump whatever he wants, we should get those rate cuts. And obviously, this is probably down the line going to be really bad for the country as a whole with stagflation. But in the short term, this should be good for old Mateo. Like, I could actually argue that this is going to be, it should be perceived by the market of a greater odds chance of a rate cut. And right now in the short term, the market is trying to be bullish on the concept of cheaper money. And they're saying this entire concept of, like, uncontrollable inflation and hyperinflation, fuck it, that's the next guy's problem. So as I was thinking about it more and more last night, once again, as I was spiraling into insanity, I'm starting to think that, at least for my positions, it might end up being pretty good. It might end up being pretty good. So obviously the real implications are, we're going to find out on, we're going to really know the next step in the market this Friday with the PCE report. But when I was thinking more and more about this Lisa Cook thing, it could have interesting medium-term ramifications. And of course, just to be, I don't know, fair and full with this entire story, Federal Reserve Governor Lisa Cook says President Trump has, quote-unquote, no authority to fire her. I will continue to carry out my duties. So I guess she's showing up to work for no paycheck. But then I was like, well, who actually pays you if it's independent from the government? So I'm kind of confused. It is an interesting precedent. Like, can we just go around and just start saying everyone's fired? Like, if I go to a bar and I'm unhappy with the service, can I just be like, you're fired? I think we should all start to do this in our life, just going around. And if you're not happy with a person in any capacity, it doesn't matter if you're at a bar, it doesn't matter if you're whatever, going to the movie theater, it doesn't matter where you are in your life. If you don't like it, just start screaming that everyone's fired and see how it goes. I mean, the hit rate is probably low, but as long as it's not zero, that's kind of impressive if you really think about it. It's kind of impressive. Somewhat related to, I guess, the economy policy. Don't forget, we're still in the middle of a trade war. Top Chinese trade negotiator set to head to U.S. as talks resume. So the negotiator for China is expected to come to Washington this week in a sign that both the U.S. and China seek to establish regular dialogue. So I would actually argue that's a piece of positive news. They have to give us magnets. Trump warns of 200% tariff on China if exports are curbed. So obviously, yesterday, commentary from both sides, and I just want to bring it up because it sounds like in a couple days we're going to be covering this even more. This was from really the president yesterday of, hey, like, don't screw with us, like, we're here. We want to get going forward with this idea of a better trade partnership, but also don't forget, if you don't give me what I want, I'm going to come back and hit you 10 times harder, or in this particular circumstance, 200% harder. So I just wanted to start this narrative here, but in the coming days, we're going to have to do more of this. We're going to have to definitely be chit-chatting about the whole U.S.-China thing a bit more. Trump vows substantial new tariffs, chip restrictions on countries with digital taxes. So this is outside of the world of exclusively China, basically to anyone. And this is kind of like a wink, wink, nudge, nudge to the whole EU trading bloc of like, hey, don't screw with me, or the way we had chip restrictions to China, guess what? You might wake up tomorrow and also have chip restrictions. Remember, as it comes to the trade war, Trump really is playing with all the cards. I know a lot of these other players are trying to act tough in this situation, but they all cave relatively quickly. So I'm not expecting that to change, and I think he's just right now reminding the world that he does, in fact, have all of the cards. All right, with respect to today, Tuesday, August 26th, 8:30, durable goods came in lower than expected. They were expecting a drop of 3.8, came in as a drop of 2.8, so better than expected. And then I do want to remind you, consumer confidence coming out at 10 a.m., 10 a.m. consumer confidence. So just be careful trading around 10. This is going to be probably in the short term pretty impactful. So for my day traders, scalp traders, if you have a position right before 10, I just want to call this out to all of you. I do want to remind you that on Thursday we get the GDP numbers, and on Friday we get the all-important PCE, the personal consumption expenditure. And then you should also not forget the fact that after the market closes, not only do we hear from HP, CrowdStrike, and Snowflake, but we hear from the biggest stock of them all, NVIDIA. Not only is it the world's largest stock, or by market cap, but it also is just it's the barometer for what in the world is going on with semiconductors and AI, and pretty much the bubble that's currently getting bigger and bigger and bigger, keeping the market at new all-time highs. Is there another leg? Well, we're going to find out very, very shortly. If you haven't already, don't forget to sign up for the newsletter, macros.locals.com. I break down what's going on in the market. I give you a cheat sheet for the earnings, for all the major macroeconomic events. Remember, today, 10 a.m., consumer confidence. And then I give you an idea of the seasonality of each day. So yesterday, seasonally, was bullish. Did that play out? No. Today is seasonally bullish. It's actually more bullish. Historically, when I say historically, I mean over the past 27 years, the bulls have won this day 67% of the time. Remember, usually it's a 50-50 distribution. Well, technically 54-46 is like the normal way we see the market. But anyway, the bulls win this 67% of the time. So that's a nice 17% edge. And trust me, based on my positions, I am very much biased to that happening. I believe that the underlying data still kind of supports it, but obviously I'll tell you better at 4 p.m. Tomorrow, Wednesday, it is also leaning bullish, and then Thursday's neutral and Friday's neutral. Once again, you could get that for free, macros.locals.com. It's in the description of the video, and it'll come to your email inbox every single Sunday morning. All right, so with that being said, the market's about to get going. We have 1 minute. I just want to remind you the overall picture. We had down, down, down. We basically hit the bottom of this. We had a nice day on Friday. Yesterday was an inside day, a non-trend day. The high and the low were within the high and the low of the previous bar. That, by definition, is an inside day. It's a non-trend day. It's a nothing day. It's a nada day. And we kind of saw that here in NDX as well. We're trying to bounce off the bottom end of this inside day. So we're waiting to see which way we break. And in all reality, I just care kind of about the high and the low of Friday. Are we going to take out the high from Friday, or are we going to take out the low from Friday? I'm kind of watching that in the overall situation. Specific to today, here are all the key levels I'm watching. As I always do, I mark out the previous highs and lows and the closing value. Here's my transition zone. And then, of course, the yellow horizontal lines are the major open interest levels. Feel free to write them down. Feel free to screenshot it. Feel free to use them if you want it. It's all up to you. But on that note, dingity ding ding ding, the world's largest casino is now open. Best of luck to all. Play responsibly, and if not, have fun. All right, I had to make quite a few changes to Icarus, folks, and I am hoping that the changes I made to Icarus did, in fact, not break Icarus, but we're going to find out. So opening it up here, I believe I have everything enabled. What time is it? Okay, yeah, we're looking somewhat decent. Let's see what it does today. I have no idea what it's going to do. I have no idea what it's not going to do. I just, I would just love for it to go green. I would love for it to go green and like just no sweat. I would love for today to be a no sweat green day, just locking in some money and moving on with my life. It would make things quite a bit easier.
Order submitted.
All right, we're doing our first trade there. Our first trade. And just like yesterday, dude, if this particular strategy goes bust 2 days in a row, this particular one that just fired, and it just did 2 days in a fucking row. Look at that. It bottomed just at, what the fuck happened there, actually? I always feel like that one's firing earlier than it should. And I know I said the exact same thing to you yesterday. Oh, that's why, because of the slippage on the fill. It was supposed to be in at 72, and it got out at 67. That's why. It was supposed to get in on this bar's breakdown. So the strategy, like the hypothetical, like perfect strategy, no slippage, it would have entered a tick below. It would have gotten in at 72.25, and it actually would have been out at like 69.75, but instead it got a fill at 67. So this is coming back to slippage, and I'm starting to get this overall like idea, this overall concept that no matter what I've done, I've tried 2 different trade copiers. This time, instead of doing trade copiers, I applied the strategy to each individual account. I feel like I've tried every variant possible. The only thing I haven't done yet, the only thing I have not done yet that I like maybe is a worthwhile try is, dude, now that's pumping now. The Q's already went green, and the SPY's already going green. The only thing I haven't tried that I think like might be worthwhile is ES is more liquid than NQ. NQ is a very, very liquid product, but it's a little bit more rapid in its movement because the price movements, like the point movements, are worth a little bit less. So the only other idea, because I've tried independent strategies, I've tried this copier, I've tried that copier, and no matter what I do, I mean, I've even tried refactoring my code to get it to run faster. I've tried, I feel like I've exhausted every single idea except for attempting to do it on ES. So NQ is a very large liquid contract, but ES is a larger, even more liquid contract. And the point movement isn't as extreme, as in it's not just so jumpy, it's not as rapid. So that's the only other idea I have, is maybe redesigning the code to be appropriate for ES over NQ. That's my final idea. And if that idea doesn't work, if that one idea does not work, I suppose my only other idea from that point would be that the scalping is just not possible in a sim funded environment like that you have to go for some bigger swings, and you have to do it to the point that being off by a point or two just doesn't matter in the overall success of the strategy. So like my final idea is redesigning it for ES instead of NQ. And then if that doesn't work, at that point, I think the sim funded environment and something about the processing time in the back end, I just don't know if it's possible. I think you have to maybe potentially go for larger swings. But we'll see. Just go back to the wheel, like reinventing the wheel, maybe. Well, I'm liking that Tesla's getting a pump. Dude, I need this overall market to pump. I really need Bitcoin to pump. I just need everything to go massively green. You know what I would like? And I know the market doesn't really care. This day, right here, Thursday, April the 10th of the 9th, Wednesday, April the 9th, 2025, when the market in one day went up 12%, a record set. Why can't we just have that again? Am I really asking for too much? Like, is it insane of me to think, like, why can't I just copy and paste this bar over here? Like, is it really, really that nuts of me? What the fuck was that? I don't know. I think it's a fair ask. I think it's a fair ask if I do say so myself. No, spinning the wheel. Oh, you want me to wheel it? It's not the craziest idea. All right, let me show you a little bit of the flow. Let's try to get our... Where is... All right, we don't need that for right now. Out of the gate, the SPY delta is looking good. Out of the gate, the Mag 7 delta was holding decently for the first 4 minutes. It's taking a little bit of a hit right now. And then the NASDAQ is just flat, not really trending at all. So SPY is up, Mag 7 was flat and is now down. But also remember, we're only a couple minutes into the trading day, so there's nothing too crazy going on right now. A little bit of a pump. Is it going to be able to save? Like, this is just that test of the low and the close. Is it going to be able to save itself right here? A little bit of a pump. We put in the higher low and pop. The Qs are trying to put in a higher low right now. The Qs are trying to put in a higher low as we speak. Will they be able to pull it off? NVIDIA had a nice pop, giving a little bit of it back. Tesla's holding somewhat decently, just below 348, just above 347. What do we have going on? It's deciding. Do we want to hold this as support? Basically, does the overall market want to push into this transition zone? A little bit of a pop out of the gate. Obviously, we have this low and this high, and other than that, we were just waiting to see in which freaking direction are we actually going today. Calm, cool, collected. I don't think there's any point in rushing this right now, like whatsoever. Of anything, today and tomorrow might just kind of stall out BS days until we get NVIDIA's report after the market closes tomorrow. So definitely a little bit of enthusiasm early there. And now we're not really catching our footing for some reason. We are not catching our footing. Why in the world did that not work? Bull trap? I mean, you can't really define a bull trap by like a minute or two. That's like a minute or two. I mean, dude, we're not even, what time is it? It's 9:37. We only have 7 minutes worth of data. That's very, very, very minuscule. Very, very, very minuscule. So just wait. Let's wait for this. Obviously, we have a little bit of a range right now. We'll be able to revert. I really wish Tesla held on a little bit better. It was at 348.50. Now it's at 344.80. Like, how did it lose $4 like nothing? Even NVIDIA has already lost, $1.50 out of the gate. So we got this pump. I think Mag 7's, the Mag 7's still selling right here. It was holding constant for about 4 minutes and then got hit. And then looking at the SPY, it hasn't really given it all the way back yet. It's definitely starting to trend down a little bit. So I do want to remind you, especially if you're just joining in right now, consumer confidence is coming out at 10 a.m. So you have basically 20 minutes for that. So for those of you who are day traders and scalp traders, you should definitely be mindful of that. We should definitely be mindful of that. And what in the fuck are we doing today? I really thought that delta strategy. All right, potential double bottom here on the SPY and the Qs. Hey, if you're taking a stab at it, best of luck. Obviously, you have well-defined risk. You have a well-defined target. You have more reward than you do risk. I don't mind it, but you are currently fighting the options trend, as in you're trying to pick the bottom. And maybe you get lucky, and maybe this is the bottom right here at 938, and you took on minimal risk, and you get to ride it all the way back up. Let's see if we can figure out what in the world they're actually doing. Okay, so it bounced off the point of control at 470. NQ, I honestly perceive it to have a pretty good fighting chance above 500, and then obviously I wanted to take out 600. So I would love for this to get kind of back up to where it was the opening high here, but could be a double bottom. Obviously, this is one of those things that if it does bounce all the way up, it looks very evident. You're like, of course, why did you not get the double bottom? That was so obvious. Why did you not play it? You had well-defined risk. You had a good reward. We're in an overall bullish uptrend. You're playing the recapture, the close. Okay, cool. And then if it just pukes right here and it takes out that low, then it's easy to Monday morning quarterback and be like, yeah, no, it was selling off. Why would you ever try to catch that falling knife? And I find that when people try to critique and try to teach on that, it's always commentary through the lens of knowing how it played out, which is massively different than making the trade in real time. You know what I mean? So right here, that called out trade that I had, it seems as if it's playing out. You go long, that's your risk. You're going up to the reward. You have more reward, and it looks like it's actually playing out really, really well. However, if we just had a little bit of green and then it started to puke again, everyone would be like, yeah, it's so obvious. Like, what I don't like about the education space in the world of retail trading is everyone pitches it as it's so obvious, like so obvious. And in reality, it's just because you already know where the chart was going. There's a very, very real difference between
Order
real time.
submitted.
What the fuck? Why in the fuck did that happen? I mean, it looks like it's going to
Target
work,
filled.
but I'm still thoroughly confused. So anyway, yeah, that was like maybe a potential buy right there. Maybe a potential buy. Maybe. Long at 98, that would have been ballsy. Risk is all the way up. 40-point risk. That's quite the large risk. Quite the large risk. We just took out whatever that high was. Huh. So like yesterday, that first one busted me up. The second one made me back a little bit of money. And now I am like playing on the back of my heels here, trying to make up the money that the first strategy fucking lost. Dude, I just got to turn that strategy off. The fact that it lost 2 days in a row statistically is not good. That's not how that should happen. That's not how that should happen at all. Matt is funny without even trying. Oh, my life's a goddamn joke at this point. My life's a joke. Hey, Tesla's catching a bid. Wait, is the Mag 7 ripping? No, it's not. It might have bottomed there, though, at 938. We're getting a little bit of uptrend in the Mag 7 Delta. The NASDAQ just got a big pop at 941, and the SPY pumped up, put in a higher low, and then is right now testing to get a fresh high on the Delta. So the SPY is getting decent flow. The NASDAQ was fine, then bad, and now it's back to being fine. And the Mag 7, this is what I want to see rip a little bit more. What are the big guys doing? They're slight net sellers. Don't like that. Why can't they be net buyers? What are they doing? I started this week great and got wrecked. Hope that helps. I think we're very rapidly becoming like a financial trading gambling support group. But not the one where we're like talking about our problems, trying to get each other to be better and quit our addiction. It's just more of like, the dark pool's fucked you on that one. You better get him back next time. I've noticed the community as a whole, we're trending in a way that by some could be considered suspect, you know? They're like, what does that group do? They just encourage each other to do super degenerate, financially unwise things. And everyone's like, so that's fun. Hey, so that's something. That is something. What in the world are we doing here? What in the world are we doing here? No one likes a quitter. Gamblers are us. That's what it feels like. All right. Are we going to get this bounce? We do have a higher high. We have higher highs and higher lows. I wonder if the Qs are going to bounce. I wonder if the Qs are going to bounce. I wouldn't mind taking this long if we can start to bounce out of here, taking advantage of the potential higher low. How's the Mag 7? It's not looking good, but it's not vomiting anymore. The SPY is trending up nicely. I do like the options flow. Ooh, but we just got. All right. I mean, to me, I'm always paying attention to the higher highs, the higher lows, the lower highs, the lower lows, and like what is the overall price structure. And we just got a higher high, but did we get a higher low is the question. It's going to be testy. Vol's definitely getting a little antsy here. Tesla's trying to get going. Nvidia not looking the best. Palantir's fine. Meta's tilting a little down. Netflix is taking a hit. Apple's taking a hit. Microsoft did recover, giving a bit of it back. Broadcom's having a decent one. Coin not looking so good. MSTR not looking like anything. So the Qs are a little questionable here, probably because of Nvidia, but I do like Tesla. Tesla's looking good. What's getting some trades this morning? SPX, Tesla, Nvidia, SPY, AMD, QQQ, LLY, Apple, Palantir, NDX. So AMD is catching some people's attention. And well, it's up. So trending down all day, but it's up 1.7% because it had such a good pre-market session. Such a good pre-market. Oh, can I risk that? That's a large risk there, brother. That's a large risk there, brother. Both the SPY and the Qs are really trying to battle it out at this red green. Remember, the white horizontal line is the previous day's close, as in if above it we're green on the day, below it we're red on the day. Both of them open below, quickly pushed up to hit that closing gap. And now the Qs, yeah, this is an ugly pattern. It's kind of like the failed McDonald's sign. Hump, like, ba-da-ba-ba, I'm puking. Yeah, so the Qs between 9:41 and 9:47, 9:46, really within 5 minutes, it made a intraday high, very quickly followed by an intraday low. The Mag 7 right here at 9:46 just started to puke. The Delta, specifically, you have some puts being purchased and some calls being sold. So both are going to be working together to drop that Delta. So that recovery was very short-lived, very, very short-lived. Yeah, the SPY also started puking at 9:44. What about the NASDAQ? The NASDAQ puked, recovered just to puke again. So not catching its footing. Actually, the SPY just did the exact same thing. The SPY just made a fresh high and then right away made a fresh low within a couple minutes. That's kind of disgusting. All right, the Qs are coming up to the low from yesterday, which we hit pretty much at market close. This might be a little bit of a support zone. But I do want to remind everyone, don't feel that urge to like rush a trade right now. Especially because we have the consumer confidence report coming out at 10 a.m. So that's in 12 minutes, and it definitely can have an impact. Definitely can have an impact here. IWM smells like anti-cook play. Well, IWM up, that is more based on this action here. That's more so representative of a rotation, probably from tech into the Russell. Yeah, IWM is actually having a pretty decent day right now. So this is going to benefit from a rate cut. This is going to benefit from Cook getting fired. This is going to benefit from people locking in their gains on tech and pushing it into small cap. So clearly small cap is behaving very, very differently than the SPY and the Qs today. The one major tech play that's doing well is Tesla. Tesla's looking pretty good. Bitcoin is not looking good. The Qs just took out the low from yesterday. The SPY's already taken out the low from yesterday. This is just getting fucking nauseating. I don't even want to look at my account. The amount of money that I have to be down right now, it has to be disgusting. Like absolutely disgusting. We're gonna find out. A little bit of a fake out there, little fake out top, ripped right through it. Ugh. ripped right through it. Tesla's trying to hold its own, though. It is technically green on the day. Avago's green on the day. AMD's green on the day. So there's a couple names like trying to buck the overall trend, trying to show the world what they're made of, but someone just sold with some decent size. Yeah, the NASDAQ Delta just really vomited. Mag 7's going flat. Maybe we should just stick to this one. SPY was looking so good. It was looking so good. Oh, well, at this point, not being that far away, how's the momentum? 5 minutes now bearish, 10 minutes now bearish, 30-minute try to go bullish, smack back down bearish, and then the 4-hour trying to hold bullish. That's all for the ES. On NQ, went from bullish to bearish, try to go bullish, smack back down, and then the 4-hour actually got rejected trying to go bullish. So momentum as of now, and obviously these are shorter time frames, so it can change on a moment's notice, but just right now, this is definitely momentum-wise, it's a bit bearish from price momentum. And then respect to options flow, that's definitely a bit more bearish. That's definitely a little bit more bearish. But with all of that being said, well, maybe the classic bottom buy right here. That's your risk. It's well defined. Dude, do you think they're going to rip it all the way back up? Rip this one all the way back up? The classic buy off yesterday's low. That's a key level of support. If you took this long right there, it's really not that crazy. You have well-defined risk. You're buying it at support. And even if you have a 50-50 shot, you're going to be right half the time. You're going to be wrong half the time. You're going to be net profitable because your returns are going to be more than your losses. So if half the time you're winning $2, but the other half of the time you're losing $1, well, guess what? You're going to be net ahead by $1. So if you took that trade, I don't know how it plays out, but honestly, it's not a bad play. That's not a bad play if you ended up taking that trade. It really, really isn't. How many of you did it? Raise your hand. Raise your hand. Who did it? I know one of you in here bought that right here. Puked all the way to the low value, and you said, all right, that's going to be my support, and you bought it off of it. I know one of you did it. I hope you crush it. Hopefully this isn't a lower high. If it is, you're going to be a little bit fucked. If you start to break down below the lows, you might want to cut quickly and lock in a little bit of your gain. But you might be able to ride this all the way back up to the 944, the 942 highs. Here's a look at the NASDAQ. Clearly right there was that reaction right off that low from yesterday. Same thing on the SPY. Both instantaneously reacted to the cues right there. Instantaneously. All right. I think this is what's going to be telling, though, is how far. Okay, so we puked. We got that reversionary bounce. And now the question is this a dead cat bounce? As in, we're just going to keep puking and we take out this low. So the next low relative to the 949 low, that's going to be the telling piece of information. Is the next low above or below the 949 low? Because that's going to tell us, yes, trend is continuing to the downside, or are we going to have the potential of a new trend, i.e. a bullish trend? And then this is all happening as we're getting a little bit closer to this 10 a.m. announcement, which obviously is in 7 minutes, 6 minutes and some change. 570. Interesting. 5 minute, even though it was bullish, it's trying to get back bullish. 10 minutes trying to get back bullish. 30-minute doesn't really know what the hell it wants to do. Right here, the 5 minute, it did puke, but it's trying to fight back. It's putting up one heck of a fight there, Tonto. What in the world is going on? Ugly opening. Ugly opening. Oh, brother. 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 Oh, brother.
Order filled.
No, faster. Get out of here. Get out of there. Okay, so I am in at 96.40. Really? I'm risking 40 points? That doesn't seem smart. I like that close. It was a VWAP recapture. I'm in at 96, 40, 35. All right, so we're going to put the first one here at 30. All right, first target is at 30. I'm just risking that recent low. Trying to see, okay, high or low. I waited for this bar to close, got it fill. Ideally a push above 5,000. But oh wait. Well, that's not fucking working how it should. Why does my thing always disconnect? Uh, 33. Let's make this one 34. All right, 34. I'm gonna have to trade this one independently from all these others.
Order submitted. Order submitted.
All right, I'm just setting up. 34. All right, 96. 96. That's fine. 30. 30.5. Put this up to 60. Put this up to 60. All right, well-defined risk. The only other thing I really need to look at is what time was this? So that's actually at 20, right, where we've already had an issue. Right here, wick. And that's actually where we wicked this morning. Okay, so I'm going to update this actually. All right, 20. 20. 72. 72. Okay. I'm happy with it. I am happy with it. So I have one that was this morning's high, which also was very important for yesterday as well. So this seemingly is the first level of resistance. I want that to hit. I want to move my stop to break even. At that point, I would kind of interpret it as like, hey, it's a free lotto ticket play to try to ride it all the way up for the next trade. But basically, the overall thought here was we opened up, we puked, we quickly recaptured VWAP. I wanted to wait for the higher low, and then on the first bar that we clearly had it, which was right here at 955, we had the structure I liked. Obviously, I have well-defined risk. I'm looking at close resistance, and then I already let you know my plan of, as ideally this one's hit, ideally soon. I would love it, and then I'm just hoping that I don't get randomly wicked out by this 10 a.m. announcement. But it's going to have to be the risk that I'm taking. We're going to see how this one goes. So the idea is we take out the intraday high. I move my stop up to break even on the runner, and then I try to get the runner to run all the way up to 72. That's the plan. I don't know if it's going to work. But we're going to find out. Playing right before the 10 a.m. announcement. Unfortunately, yes, because the structure was there. Obviously, if I were trading my own funded account, I would have waited till after 10 a.m. And if there was no structure, I would have never taken it. But remember, it's lower risk because I'm trading with someone else's money. So I was willing to take the setup that I like. But obviously, the setup I like, it unfortunately occurred right before the 10 a.m. announcement, which is going to be out in 90 seconds. 90 seconds. I'm long at 96. And once again, it's not because I have an opinion of this announcement. It's going to be 50-50. Half the time you're going to go up, half the time you're going to go down. And it's barely going to deviate from that. What I'm playing is the risk to reward setup, where I'm literally showing you my exact risk to reward right now. And even the SPY here, Jesus. Both are like just getting pinned to the closing value from yesterday. Pinned to the closing value. All right, this announcement's coming out in about a minute, or not about, exactly a minute. Are they going to bring our boy Rick Santilli on? Are they going to give us our boy Rick? We want Rick. We want Rick. We want Rick. We want Rick. Forecast is 96.4. The previous was 97.2. We want Rick. We want Rick. We want Rick. We want Rick. All right, my first target is basically the intraday high, and I'm risking this low. I'm trying to play this pattern of the new higher highs and higher lows, but it's a binary event, and that's fine. You can still be profitable with 50-50 odds. It all depends on your payout versus your risk. But my fate is about to be determined. My fate is about to be determined. What was it? Well, we're trending up. We didn't vomit, at least. Come on. Come on. Give us that pump. Give us that pump. Pump it up. Pump it up. Hold 500. Hold 500.
Flash Plus.
Give us Rick. Rick, pump the market.
Good Tuesday morning. Welcome to Squawk on the Street. I'm
All right, it didn't rip, but at least it didn't vomit, which I was very worried about.
Sarah Eisen has the morning off. Bit of a mixed bag this morning. Pretty even tape. Dow's
Give
down
us
5.
the numbers.
Got a few sectors up, a few down, but overall, watching for Okta, MDB,
97.4, and they expected 96.4. Shout out to Profit.
Above 15. Today, the president says he's firing Fed Governor Lisa Cook. Cook says the president doesn't have the authority and that she's not stepping down.
Come on.
What all that means for investors
Follow
in the future
through.
of the Fed independence. Jeffrey strategist and Fed chair contender David Zuros will join us in a few moments with his take. And then Interactive Brokers being added to the S&P 500.
That's a
Thomas
lot
Petterfield
of
will join
sell
us
side.
with his reaction to
10, 15, 20,
New
Jesus.
consumer data just crossing. Let's get to Rick Santelli, who has that for us. Rick.
Come on.
Yes, David. This is August read on consumer confidence from the Conference Board. 97.4 is the headline, better than expected. However, not sequentially higher than the big revision. Last month, 97.2.
We're
now
battling it out at 500.
98.7. And if we look at the present situation, 131.2. That follows 132.8. And finally, expectations, 74.8.
That's a lot of sellers. Okay, we have support at 80 and 85.
So not
though.
one is sequentially higher than our
80 and
final
85.
July
Okay,
reads.
I'll
Now,
take
on
that.
Richmond Fed on the manufacturing
I'll
side,
take that.
-7. That's a little better. We're expecting -11. What's interesting here is
Come on,
that
give
is
me
the
that
best
pump.
read since it was -6 in
Rick,
March of this
say-
year.
say the magic
Dropping to a
words.
negative number, never good. But if we go
Rick,
to the business
say the
side,
magic
service
words.
side, a little bit better, a positive number, up
We're
6. That
really just
follows
range bound
-8.
still.
Up 6 would be the best. Well, just since June, we're positive 14. If we look at the market, right now we're at 369
Nasdaq recovering a
two-year.
little bit.
That's where the
Mag
market was
7, nice
before the
pop
8:30
there.
data,
S&P
before this
500
data.
almost
Hasn't
at the
really
high.
moved much.
Okay.
It's down 4 basis points. 10-year at 428. Similar. It's really been hovering right
not
at
as
that
bad
level.
as it could
We do
be.
have auctions at 1 Eastern. Today there'll be a 2-year note, $69 billion.
Oh,
Tomorrow,
2-year
5
note
years
auction at 1
$70
p.m.
billion,
That's important.
Followed by Thursday, $44 billion, 7 years. Mike Santoli, back to you.
Rick, thank
Rick.
you very much.
Rick.
Well, President Trump says he is firing
Can
Fed
it
Governor
hold
Lisa
500?
Cook over alleged mortgage fraud. Let's get to Steve Leisman with the latest. Hi, Steve.
Morning, Mike. Yeah, more questions and answers this morning about the independence of the Fed, the power of the president over the central bank, and of course,
Hold
the more important
500.
outlook for
Hold the
monetary policy
line.
when it comes to markets. The president
Hold
said
the
he
line.
quote, allegedly making false statements on one or more mortgage agreements. Cook, in a statement last night, responded, quote, President Trump purported to fire me for a cause when no cause exists under the law and he has no authority to do so. I will not resign. Its questions include, is Cook actually fired now? We don't know the answer to that. Does the president actually have this authority? What will Fed Chair Powell do in response? Will he allow her into the building or cut off her email or whatever? How and when will the courts weigh in here? How much control does the president have over the Fed? Many, both inside and outside of the Fed, have viewed the attack on Cook as political, part of an effort to force the Fed to reduce rates, but also many wonder if the charges
this
of
is
mortgage fraud
painful
have
right now.
substance that should force
I'm
a
just watching
resignation.
paint dry.
Cook has not responded to the charges per se. If the removal stands, the Board of Governors would have only 5 of its regular 7 members. Chair Jay Powell, appointed by both Trump and President Biden. Biden appointees Jefferson and Barr, and Trump appointees Bowman and Waller.
I just asked
The president
ChatGPT,
has
can the sitting
nominated
U.S.
CPA
president
Chair
fire
Stephen
a
Byron
Fed governor?
to a vacant spot So replacing Cook would give
Searching
Trump
legal
a majority
sources.
on the board. Fed probabilities
Go.
changing only
Go.
slightly
Go.
in the wake
Go.
of the fire
Go.
in September,
Go.
remaining at around 82% of a rate cut probability, that is, in October at a 42% for a Fed cut, up a little bit. Overall, the market reaction
Dude, there's
you said
a
this morning is
lot.
modest.
Look at all
Could
this.
suggest for now
All
this
this
is seen as a
junk
limited
right
action
here.
by the president, who has some
15.
rationale for it, and that it does not concern the more important issue of the Fed chair. It could also mean markets don't think that much about Fed independence. Guys?
Steve,
Dude, it is just.
some references have been
We
made
are
in
battling
my
it out. Look at
here
that. We
to
barely
other
touched
cases
it, and
such
then
as
it
that
just
involving,
puked.
I guess, Kaplan, Rosengren,
Come
Clarida.
on.
You
Just
obviously
take these
know
levels
all
out.
those
We have some
people
support coming in
and,
at 95.
The stories behind it,
But
where there were some allegations
This is,
of
it just ran up to
impropriety,
this junk,
and
got
they may have
smacked,
stepped
ran
off.
up to
Can you
this.
give our
How's
viewers some
ES
sense as to
looking?
whether there is a correlation here between what may have happened with
ES
those
has some
cases and what
support
this
at
represents?
55.
Well, I think in those cases,
Up here
there
at
were
60.
violations of, in both the Rosengren and Kaplan cases, issues of trading policy and violating the trading policies. These were referred to the Inspector General, and these gentlemen, I think, ultimately
Come on,
resigned
get the
before the
follow
Inspector
through.
General came out with their reports, perhaps from internal pressure to do so. And these were, I think, maybe a key
Bullish,
distinction here,
bullish,
David,
bullish.
is on
Almost
the job
going
type
bullish
stuff.
here.
They were on the job,
It's
and they
testing
were
it
doing some trading
at
that
the
appeared to
512
violate,
level.
the Fed's trading rules.
Bullish,
I think
bullish,
the key here
bullish,
also, David, and this
bullish.
is something that I think markets are wondering about.
So
is
ES,
this was
the
handled
S&P
internally
500
by the Federal
is
Reserve.
attempting
So
to
the
fight.
Fed,
Tesla
in
just got
ousting
clocked.
These people or getting rid of them was acting independently of the
Avago's
executive
up
branch. The
1%.
president never weighed in, as I recall, on those things. So that's a big question here. Is ultimately. You could imagine, David, a situation where this issue with Cook
956
is
low.
handled internally by the Fed that would preserve the independence and still
I think
meet
that's
the
the way it's gonna
criteria
go,
of
is
the
it's gonna
president
get handled
for,
internally.
getting rid of Lisa Cook.
Steve, appreciate that. We'll talk more about the market reaction later this hour. Here to talk about the potential fallout, though, Jefferies chief market strategist David Zervos, also said to be on the list of possible next Fed officials. David, it's great to have you. Welcome.
Well, that
We had a
support
long
at
discussion
85
about
got
the
moved back down
absence,
to
at least
80, so
far,
I'm
of
not
an
liking
actual
that.
charge.
The
What
resistance
should
up
she
here
do?
at 20 is still very, very evident. A lot of people trying to sell
that's
at
a tricky
20.
question. I think it's a complicated time. It's unprecedented, as you guys have said. Although,
Come on.
as you were just discussing, we've seen
Battle at
3 different
500.
cases, and in fact, you could add in the Jeffrey Lacker case in 2017 of Fed officials, presidents, and members of the board that have had allegations against them that led to
Lack
their
of follow
departure,
through there.
in a pretty unceremonious way. So it's not that uncommon that we have some problems or some violations. The real question is it a violation? Did she violate? And does the president have
Looking
the
for this
statutory
flag
ability
breakout here.
to fire for
Down
cause? I
sloping
think the
flag
Supreme
from the
Court will adjudicate
943
that,
high to
and
the
I presume
1005
the Justice
high.
Department will or the courts now will determine whether she actually did commit any.
We
sort
are
of
above
crime.
VWAP.
How do you think that the carve-out for the Fed that SCOTUS has already given us might be applicable here?
But not much follow through.
You know, it's a tricky one because it was a tough one to read. That the Fed had this special privilege that really was hard to get to the bottom of in that reading when they allowed the FTT and
Lots
the FCC
of messed
and
up gamma levels here.
the CFPB heads to be fired. So I think that'll be interesting to watch. But I mean, there is a more general thing
Big
away
battle
from
here
that,
at 6440 on
Carl,
SPX.
which is about just the sort of right
We
of the
do have
president
higher
to
highs and
fire
higher
for
lows, though,
cause and
recently,
testing that
ever
with
since
the Federal
949.
Reserve. This is untested. So I do think that needs to be seen in the Supreme Court. Does the president have the right to do this? In the law, he does. The question is, who determines cause? What is cause? Is this cause?
What he's saying is actually what
is this a
ChatGPT
high
said
enough
is
bar
that
for
they
cause?
can technically fire them, but they have to have cause,
To the broader question
not
of Fed
at will.
independence, and certainly what is the president's focus on, at least exerting some level of control over the Fed. As somebody who's on the list of potential candidates to succeed Jerome Powell,
IWM plus
just
0.7
curious
new
as to
high
how
day.
you
Yeah,
think
that's a
about
big
it. If
rotation.
we wake up one day and David Zervos is Fed chair, or are we going to sit here and say, oh, he's going to be Trump's puppet?
Well,
You could have locked in over 1K this morning and passed. Good luck. What do you? When could I have locked in 1K this
You just
morning?
have to,
What?
thicken up your skin when you get to this town, Washington, D.C., and do your job. And your job at the Federal Reserve is to focus on maximum
what
employment.
universe
anchored
do you
lower
live when I was up
inflation
1K
expectations
this
and price
morning?
stability, and also recognize, David, something that I think is not recognized often by most people in the markets and most people that comment on the Fed, which is that there is a natural level
That trade was a great trade.
in this
That
institution.
950
This institution
reversal.
is a political institution,
Buying,
and you're going to get
buying right off the
you're gonna get
support bounce.
political pressures from all sides, from Congress, from the White House, from your own colleagues. And right now, I would argue, David, that inside the Fed, a decision to keep Lisa Cook in the event that she does have potentially charges against her that are valid, if they were to find that could be a political decision to keep someone on that is moving against the administration. So there's pressures inside, there's pressures outside.
Yeah,
Politics
it's just chaos.
Operates in
It's just
many different dimensions
purely
and directions
chaos.
in this city. It's not just unilaterally, let's protect the Fed from the president. We've got to think about all the politics that come from the Senate, the House,
Dude,
and
it's just
also
so range
the
bound.
internal personal politics that are on the board today. And those are large vestiges of the past
There we go.
administration.
Come on. Follow through.
But I
Trend
do
line
wonder,
test.
David, whether the
I'm trying to
president's
take my
public
profits right at the
campaign
recent high here.
to get rates lower. And,
Come on.
You know, things that have been
Come on.
unprecedented in terms of his public attacks
Come on.
Jerome Powell and
Order.
obviously
All
his
right,
move
first
against
one locked in.
Governor Cook. Does it impact broader markets, in your opinion, in terms of the perception of Fed independence going forward?
Well, I don't think it does. And I think you can see that. Inflation break-evens in the tips market haven't adjusted significantly. Curves are a little steeper, but they're steeper all
right,
over the world.
free
We're
lotto
seeing
play.
it in the UK. We're seeing it in Australia.
Free
We're
lotto
seeing it
play.
in Germany. So I don't think there is
Lock
a
that one in.
question
Move
about
my stop to break
credibility that's
even.
coming in here. I think there are reasons why term premiums may be rising globally, but that could be observationally equivalent to a lot of things that people might throw out as questioning
If it pulls
Fed
back,
independence.
I'm shit out of luck.
As for the
but
administration
whatever.
talking about its views on rates, why shouldn't we have an administration that talks about its views on
Freebie
rates?
play.
Especially if they've got
Freebie
views
play.
that are helpful to the discussion, and I think they are helpful to the discussion.
In reality, a
in
better
many
risk would
ways,
be the 1007.
the
All right, this guy's
administration
getting
of-
boring. But what he's saying, actually, ChatGPT does agree with it. Short answer, not at will. Oh, and by the way, I asked ChatGPT, can the sitting U.S. president fire a Fed governor?
Stop filled.
All right, I just got stopped out. Okay, so I got, I don't know, at least some locked in. So that second one filled at break even. Break even. And now I can actually, okay. Obviously, I was being defensive there. I just put the stop at break even. It was a free lotto ticket. The free lotto ticket did not go my way. But if there's another recapture of this, of course, I'll take another stab at it, and I'll do the same thing again. I'll use the recent low as my risk. I'll see if I could catch the trend. I'll try to lock in some profit, and then at that point, locking it in where, like right here. This is why I had that first target, because in case there was a rejection at the intraday high, which is literally what we just saw. So kind of a fake out breakout from this trend here, clearly a fake out breakout, and then a quick smack. Dude, what happened on this side of it? I mean, that just ripped through it. It's just still really struggling at 500. Really struggling at 500. I guess I'd rather be safe than anything else. So I actually like that play. Locked in some money, other one break even. Sometimes when you go fishing, you're not catching anything. Sometimes there's just no trend. But I am paying close attention because this is actually a nice time for this system to trade. It is a nice time for this system to trade. What time is it? What is it? NVIDIA failed breakout. NVIDIA had a failed breakout. SPY hugging the closing value. Q's hugging the close. Avago. Tesla was looking good, giving some of it back. NVIDIA failed breakout. I don't know what you're seeing. Are you just talking about over this recent high, I guess, a fresh high? The breakout would be the intraday high at 931. I assume you're talking about just this like recent mess. But I'm wondering here, once again, support. Can I get in once again? Folks, I think a safe assumption is assume your trades are going to lose, and in reality, your odds are probably going to be 50-50. That's just how a lot of this game is going to go. So here, I'm basically just wondering, can I take advantage of a low risk setup? 83,505. Oh, that's not the lowest risk in reality. That's definitely not the lowest risk. Oh, brother, that one, I would have still been in this play, and I barely would have been ahead. So we're above this. That's at 505. Are we going to close up here? And we have about 20 seconds. But what's weird is this window is actually a pretty good window for this strategy. It is a pretty good trading window. And I do have the trade copier actually set up properly today. I do have the trade copy. All right, we are going to close.
Order submitted.
Okay, what was I in at? 507, 83, 17, 24. And what was the other one? 72, I think was my like reach target. Okay, cool. Well, we have it set up again. Like I said, it's a game of can you take small risk, high reward, and ideally good odds. I find that your odds improve above 50-50 if you can get good at identifying the trend. So on that note, let's play the fun game of critique Matt and explain why he's about to lose money. So let's review. Remember, you are not in control of if you make money or lose money, because inherently if you go up or down, that is depending on trades that come after you. It's other market participants either deciding to buy or sell. So you're not in control of that. What you are in control of is your decision making to get in, and then your decision making when you are in of how to manage the trade. So obviously I'm still in the trade, so we can't really critique that, but obviously I already entered right here. Basically we pumped, we pulled back. I didn't want to chase the intraday high. We started to build back up. I got a close above the past 2 wicks. I went long on the next bar open, risking the recent swing low. So that's pretty much the situation. Now let's play the fun game of like critiquing my trade. And honestly, I would love to hear from you guys because I've been trading like dog shit lately. So maybe one of you could teach me something. So what I see here, ever since 949, I see a succession of higher highs and higher lows. We just made fresh highs. The lows have not really taken out this 956 low. So I'm seeing a slowly but surely climb up. So from a price structure standpoint, higher highs and higher lows. From a price momentum standpoint, 5-minute, 10-minute, 30-minute, 4-hour, all on top of the 50 EMA for the ES contract. 5-minute, 10-minute, 30-minute, 4-hour. Well, this one's questionable. The 4-hour on NQ, like it's like we're actually literally right at it right now. But excluding that one, 5-minute, 10-minute, 30-minute, they are all on the bullish side. With respect to options flow, same thing. From about 950 till now, the Mag 7 is trending up. Looking at the NASDAQ, from 950 until now, it is trending up. Looking at the S&P 500, from 950 until now, it's more so trending up. This is a bit weaker just because it's so jagged, so I'm not necessarily in love with that. Looking at the large players, they are kind of net sellers today, so also not really the biggest fan of that one either. That could be a bit better. So I would say this setup that I took, if I had to grade myself, this could look a little bit better. Did we get the Orbo? We get the 30-minute Orbo breakout. I would say this is a B. I would say this is a B. Don't consider options flow to confirm long bias. I like the trade and agree over. Why would you not use options flow to confirm a long bias? I would say 0 DTE options are actually probably one of the most influential things occurring on any single trading day. Options trading is the most popular it's ever been, and just over 50% of options trades are 0 DTE trades. Why in the world would you not consider options? That's crazy. That just literally quantifiably, the amount of options trading has a huge influence. Huge influence on the market. I mean, it's just creating all these all the gamma pockets, whether positive or negative. It gives you an idea of all of this, that the hedging that market makers have to do. You get idea of the gamma, the delta. I said you didn't, at least on screen. Oh, sorry. So you're saying I didn't take it into account. No, over here, like where I look at chat, I have the monitor and I look at these as well. I have these exact same screens up on my other one over here. My apologies. But for any of you who are maybe new, understand that 0DT trading now accounts for more than 50% of options trading volume, and options trading itself is the biggest it's ever been. But yeah, these particular screens that I'm showing you, I also have them over here on this one. I fucking hate 0DT options. Yeah, they suck to trade, but they're very good to track. So it's a tool you can use to help you with other aspects of trades. Damn, we just got another rejection there. I wonder if I should have just taken this one at 20 again. Maybe I could get lucky. Honestly, though, okay, so the first time we tried to break this down-sloping trend line, we got quickly smacked. Maybe this time we find support at it. I wouldn't mind that, because then I could use this low as my next risk point when this first one gets filled, if it gets filled. If it gets filled. 28. If it gets filled. Anyway, I'm just paying attention to the previous low and I'm paying attention to the high, but I can tell you also here from the heat map, there's a lot. We have people selling at 30. We have people selling at 35 and not the most follow through, but I would love for this. I'm trying to get filled at the second highlight here. I know there's going to be a battle at 30 and I hope I just don't get unlucky and it gets smacked there and I get fucked. So I'm going for a little bit more of a reach, and that's probably not smart of me, but I'll have, like, in the back of my mind, I also know I'm red on the day, so I'm swinging a little bit harder to try to get these back into the green, but we're going to see. Oh, if I really wanted to, I could actually move my stop up right now and just take on no risk. I might do that. Take on literally just no risk. Have just a complete lotto ticket play from the get-go. Well, not really from the get-go, but you know what I mean. I feel if it closes above 24.25, I'm going to do it. If we get a bar close above 24.25, I'm going to move my stop up to break even and take no risk on this trade. And we'll find out in about, this is a minute chart. So we have about 15 seconds left. 15 seconds left. Yeah. If we close above 24, well, actually it might hit anyway. So that would force me to move it. But regardless of what happens first, I'm going to move my stop up to 507 right here. There. Boom. No risk. Free play. Free play, free play, free play. Free play. I move my risk a little bit early. I'm just getting a little bit freaked out about all the
Order
people.
filled.
Well, doesn't matter anyway. So, all right, locked it in. And then I have that runner. Locked it in. Is that runner at a good spot, though? So now it's a completely free play. So as I did before, folks, I'm telling you, more than half my trades when I'm trading this system, the runner gets knocked out for break even. That is the common occurrence. But the reason you do it is because for the uncommon occurrence that you catch a big trend, that's where you make all of your money. So like percentage wise, more than half the time, this, like when I do the stop to break even, that's what gets hit. But once again, there's a rare circumstance where you catch the big trend and you ride it and you ride it and you ride it, and that's where you make your money. So that's why I do it time and time again. But once again, my mental bias on it is in fact that it's not gonna make me money. All right, I'm targeting, I feel like 600 is important. Let me go back to my cheat sheet here. Let me go back to my little cheat sheet of the levels that I care about. I don't know why those are up there. What was this sell-off? This sell-off, this is going to be an important resistance to take out 55. That's when we really started to puke into close yesterday. The next one is 73, which is what I was targeting at first. So I'm going to be watching 55, and then ideally if we can push above 23,555, I'm going to look for another structure where I could just base my risk at that low and then see if I could ride it up to 73, and I might just call it a day there at that 73 level. yeah, just looking at this high, and then if you really want to reach for it, you could go somewhere between 600 and 620 if you have more to scale out of. But for me, it's a lotto ticket play. Literally, my stop is break even. I'm back into the green on the day. This is the second day in the row, that fucking my strategies went to shit in the morning, and then I had to manually trade a different strategy to get myself back to the green. At a certain point, like, I'm getting tired of the guy I see in the mirror because he is causing a lot of issues in my life. He is 100% causing all of the problems in my life, without a doubt. Without a doubt, without a doubt, without a doubt. Why are these large guys selling again? Why the fuck are they doing that? Avago, Nvidia, nice push. Tesla, nope. I wish it were going a bit nicer. Nvidia, that is looking good. Palantir, also getting a nice push. Also getting a nice push. What is today? Today is the 26th. 26th, 26th, 26th. 26th, 26th, 26th. Hang on, I'm just updating this. All right, I'm just updating the Discord for people in there. So if you're in there, check out Piper. Piper just fired, but then also check out Thick Trades because I just put a note in there. Put a little bit of a note. All right, but we're getting that grind. I'm catching a little bit of it. Oh, do I want a trailer or do I just want to leave it? See, this is what I did yesterday, and I trailed it aggressively when in reality, if I just left it how it could have been, it was actually pretty decent. Pretty decent. We are coming up to that first resistance at 55 on NQ. For any of you trading NQ, the start of the sell-off right here, this giant here, actually, you might be able to see it better on the 1 minute. You could see just this like cascade that we had right here. Just this like, well, technically it was at 40, really, that huge cascade, but I could argue that it kind of started at 55 here. This was yesterday afternoon. We just puked this whole range. We went from 555 all the way down to 485. That was crazy. What's that? A 70-point sell-off. So I'm looking to see if it could take out this high. It feels important, and then the next high would be 73. But just talking about this one giant order, technically we're at the top of it right now. Technically, we're at the top of it. How's SPX looking? We are in the transition zone, so my next target would be 450, and then above that, we break out of the transition zone at 55, and then from 55, my target would be somewhere between 66 and 70. That would be my like bullish reach target on the day, once again, upon this breakout of the transition zone. So we started below the transition zone, try to get into it, rejected, 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 try to get into it. Well, maybe it worked this time. Like I said, if you're playing the transition zone, you could scale out a little bit at 50, 55. But upon that break, I would then be looking up here to 66 and 70. And I would fucking love a break of yesterday's high. I would love a break of yesterday's high. Palantir's looking good. Nvidia's looking good. Tesla's not doing anything today, but it was looking very good yesterday. And that's all she wrote. I guess I executed my trades. I did kind of what I was supposed to today. I just need to be more disciplined. I feel like over the past month or something, I think sometimes like when you get onto a little bit of a bad losing streak, like I find that that's like really when you could become undisciplined because you start like lashing out and try to do things to quickly make back your money. And like you start doing all this like self-bargaining bullshit of like, all right, if I could just get it back, like I'll do this dumb thing. It's like the last time I do it, I swear. And I don't know. I just gotta like stick to exactly what I know. Like I know the math, I know the stats, I know exactly what to do. There's nothing more frustrating than proving to yourself what is mathematically profitable and then not doing that thing. It feels like just like you feel like you're going fucking nuts. I don't know how many of you in here have experienced that where you're like, nope, I know this pattern works. I've back tested it. Here's my positive expected value. You know all the math stats and figures of it. And then yet for some fucking uncanny reason, maybe take a misstep or maybe take a bad beat. And then you get a little tilted and then you lose a little bit more. And then you go on full tilt to try to quickly make it back to get to break even. You're like, okay, as long as I could get to break even, then I'll start being good and disciplined again. And it's just, it's its own mental like purgatory. There's nothing. It's one thing when you lose in trading, but it's because of something that you just didn't understand yet. There's nothing more frustrating than knowing exactly what you should be doing and not doing it, and then losing money, and then watching if you just had stuck to your initial plan that you know you should do, you would be fine. Like, it fucking drives me up a wall. It really, really does. Tilted trading has me by the balls. Yeah. Spamming re in chat. Yeah. But anyway, at least today, I feel as if I've done what I should be doing. I identified the trend, fortunately went my way, but even if it did or didn't go my way, I wasn't fucking around with the risk. I wasn't like giving it more risk than it should have. I feel like I was identifying levels. And once again, we are looking at 40 followed by 55. Let's go back to this. Yeah, people are trying to sell here at 50. Quickly, a shout out, pinned to the top of chat as we're here looking at the Mag 7. I'm like, wow, like that type of stuff, like where I'm basically using all this to get the key levels. Shout out to Spot Gamma. They are today's stream partner. We are the only community in the entire world that they give 80% off to. Everyone else not using this link, not using the code Goonie, not using that code Kohrs. Basically, Spot Gamma, we're the only one that they partner with, and that's because you guys show so much support for them. And truly, this is a phenomenal tool. I've been in this space for years and years and years, and I've used all the options analytics tools out there. I'm telling you, this one is second to none. I've used all of them, and I know there's other ones that are popular, and I see the screenshots, and most of the time they have no idea what they're talking about. This truly is the best options analytics tool. And even if you don't want to trade options, like you guys saw how I use the options flow to do futures trades today. So I like it, you don't have to use it just for options. Of course, with options, it's good. And that's when I start checking in on some of these other things, such as with Tesla, I'll look at like the key levels, and I know they're at 50 and 55 right here. 50 looks like 65 is maybe becoming a little bit of resistance. I know that there's support at 40. So that's something you can do for options and more swing plays. But once again, this all lives in Spot Gamma. Check it out. 80% off, pinned to the top of chat in the description of the video. And you didn't hear it from me, but a little birdie told me that they're about to announce and kind of showcase an entirely new product. And once again, you didn't hear it from me, but it might be called Flow Patrol, and it might be a daily newsletter of, you know how like on Twitter, you see people like posting shit about like, oh, look at all, like what, someone bought $5 million worth of puts. And like in reality, they don't know what they're talking about. Did they buy to open? Did they buy to close? Remember, you can create options positions by buying or selling to open or to close. Sell to open, sell to close, buy to open, buy to close. So they're coming out with a new product that is absolutely phenomenal, and it actually looks at the true net situation. So it's not people just screaming, look at what was bought, look at what was sold. It's like, no, we need the net increases, the net decreases. And once again, I have not seen another tool that does that whatsoever. So they are doing the beta now. They have some streams coming up. I actually believe there might be a stream tomorrow. Yeah, there is a stream tomorrow. And then when is the full release? Sometime between this week and next week. Anyway, be on the lookout for that. So I think it's actually, can I just show you? Shh. I might be able to show you a little bit of a sneak peek here if I can find it in my own email. Hang on. Is this it? Is that not the right email? I forget. I have too many emails. Is this the right email? Yo, I know where I saw it. Sorry. Brain fart. They tweeted out an example of it. Not this one. What is this? The 69% decline in the VIX over the last 20 years is the biggest volatility crash in history. Holy fuck. Biggest 20-week VIX percent decline. And then how the S&P 500 does. Wow. There was one 6-month period after this that it was not positive. That's crazy. Anyway, what was I? Here's an example of it. But see, they put out this net, and the net was buy to open, BTO, Tesla, 350 calls, expiration September 12th. That's sizable. Same thing on NVIDIA, buy to open, 50,000 for the 172.50 strike, which is in the money. This one was out of the money. That would be another thing to note, in the money or out of the money, ITM, ATM. Looks like buy to open, sell to open. Someone is doing a spread on bull. Someone sell to close, buy to open. So they got out of these calls, the 160s, and rolled it up to 172. Riot, buy to close. So anyway, you kind of get the point. Someone was selling puts, sell to open, selling puts. That's neutral to bullish. And then someone was very bullish, buy to open, straight up buying Tesla. So this breakdown, you're going to see other people, especially in the Twitter sphere, of just trying to call out random large orders. But what's the point of a random large order if you don't know if it's opening or closing? You can sell to open. You could sell to close. You could buy to open. You could buy to close. And you just don't see people appropriately breaking that down. Actually, they're not breaking it down whatsoever. It's just engagement. It's literally just farming engagement in FinTwit of look at, I saw big numbers and I'm going to Monday morning quarterback it and say that someone knew, when they're not checking it out at they don't know what they're talking about. Anyway, that's my pet peeve of the day. That's my pet peeve. I might use this low as my new risk point. Do I want to do it? We're trying to battle it at 50. We know 50. We know somewhere between 40 and 55, there's going to be some structural resistance. And we know that from a liquidity perspective, people are definitely trying to sell at 50 right now in real time. Not the most we've ever seen. We're kind of on the upper end of our distribution today. Obviously, that'd be an intraday high, at least for the pit session. Quite a bit of trades went, man, that really quickly dropped. We went from 47 to 33 like it was nothing. Or I could just let it sit here and just whatever it is, it is. Oh, what are we doing on this? SPX never really hit 50. That's actually kind of an interesting trade setup, is this trend line breakout. That's actually a really interesting trade setup. If we can get above and hold above, your risk would be whatever the recent low is, and then you have a target of 50 and 55. So you could wait. If you feel like you've missed out on this and you feel like you have a bullish bias, well, you could be patient and wait for, once again, a little bit of this flag break that we're seeing from the 1026 high. And if it never does break and this ends up being just kind of a fluke, then you never got into the position anyway. Mag 7 did pump, going flat. NASDAQ did pump, going flat. And then the SPY, jagged, but generically up, and then taking a little bit of a breather right now. Specifically, some of the 0DT calls. There was a good chunk of 0DT calls being bought from 1012 to 1023, a 10-minute period of that 0DT delta really popping. And then it just completely gave it back, and now we're just kind of going flat. So this is whatever, awkward pause period. The momentum, bullish, 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 bullish. Momentum, bullish, 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 bullish. So I like that. I definitely like that. Let's mark out some medium-term highs and lows. Let's hope that this can stay above 52. We didn't take that one out yet. Definitely some of those calls are getting locked in on the SPY here. That green is just dropping. Puts were being sold. Slight purchasing now. Slight purchasing now, but clearly ever since 950, higher highs and higher lows. Intraday trend is bullish. I find it helpful to track multiple time frame trends, and you just kind of wait for those opportunities where they all, I don't know, agree with each other. So obviously the daily trend is, well, maybe we could see it better with ES. So daily trend, higher highs, higher lows, by definition, that is bullish. 4-hour trend, I would say the same thing. This is a lower high, but we still have higher lows. So this, I would say on the 4-hour, this is a bit more of consolidation because we did put in a lower high. So that's actually, for my swing traders out there, that's not a bad opportunity here. Once again, this is the 4-hour chart. So I like the higher lows, but technically that is a lower high. So waiting for that interesting trend line break. So obviously daily bullish, ES on the 4-hour is neutral leaning bullish because of this lower high, but once again, still clearly higher lows. The 30-minute, a little bit more suspect. These are some of the trends I don't like, lower highs and lower lows. So we're looking for that to revert. Technically, we did take out some recent highs, but those are all from extended hours trading. I want to see it take out some highs from actual trading hours. So this time frame not looking the best. And then obviously go into something as low as the 1 minute. Well, we might have just taken out a recent low here, but I'm very much watching this 10-12 low. So obviously trends are very much going to be defined by the time frame you're on. A certain time frame can have a very strong whatever trend, and then a different time frame of the exact same product could have the exact opposite trend. So I find one of the easiest ways to approach the market is by identifying the larger or medium term trend and then finding a smaller time frame that bucks that trend. And then when it looks like the smaller time frame trend is about to go back in phase, so let's say the overall trend is bullish, shorter time frame is bearish, and then that bearish one starts to break bullish, as in the smaller time frame is starting to agree with the larger time frame. I find that that's the optimal time to like trade, because you're basically now saying, okay, all the trends have kind of synced up, but because you waited for the shorter time frame, the smaller time frame to revert, that means you're taking on minimal risk because you're using whatever that recent inflection point is, and then you're just basically buying or praying that the overall trend persists. I think that's a generically a really good framework to approach the market with. And someone was asking for the Tesla flow on the day. It popped until about 10:01, and ever since then, it's been giving it back. NVIDIA's been climbing ever since 9:53. Palantir's been climbing all day, recently giving a little bit back. Microsoft climbing ever since 9:50. Apple climbing ever since 9:53. Netflix, little bit up. MicroStrategy, nothing. Meta, same thing, popping ever since 9:50, going flat now. Broadcom, pretty much popping all day. AMD sold off, trying to catch its footing now, but looking a little bit sketchy. And then Robinhood. So a lot of things got that inversion point right at 950. So not only are we witnessing that in just the overall indice and these major ETFs, but a lot of the major singular ones we pay attention to, very much showing that. Very much showing that concept. Oh, a little pullback here. Are we just going to keep persisting with these higher highs and higher lows? Basically looking for this to take out this recent one. Wait, where was that? We almost did right there. But maybe a 50 EMA bounce here. Could be interesting on this close above. Wait, where was this? Oh, do I want to do it? This is a decent pullback. I don't want to be chasing these highs, but overall, how strong do I think this really is? How strong do I think this really is? What's that flow looking like? It's picking up again. SPY could look a little bit better though. How are these big players? They stopped. Slight net sellers over there. Oh, do I want to do it? Do I want to do it? Yes, no, maybe so.
Order submitted.
Okay, well, that's not how... I didn't want it to go 3 and 3 like that. I did not. All right, none. What is this high? 48.75. All right, we're going to sell it at 48 then. And I just need to sell one of them there. We're going to work on our scaling out. All right.
Order canceled. Order submitted.
All right. I didn't like how that just perfectly overwrote what I already had. Not the biggest fan. All right. We're going to move our risk up, though. Risking this recent low, which is above that whichever entry I had. Oh, what was the other level I said? 70 or 72 or some shit like that. So I know between 40 and 55, there's a bit resistance. I'm literally just targeting this intraday high right here. Come on.
Order filled.
All right, good. All right, let me cancel this stuff.
Order canceled.
All right, I now have, all right, setting the risk. How many do I have? 2, right? I'm long 2 right now. Sell stop market.
Order submitted.
All right, 172.50.
Order submitted. Order submitted.
There we go. Locked in one already. I'm still kind of carrying the other. So that one locked in. Yeah, I could actually take this risk. I don't even have to necessarily move it to break even because of where that got its original fill. This one got the fill at 07. Technically locked that in at 48, but I still now have these two. So I'm basically kind of like smushing two different strategies together. But right here, this is exactly why you never know if it's going to break out or not, which is why if you have multiple positions, why not scale out a little bit? Why did I target this level? Because I have eyeballs and I could see that other people are going to be witnessing it. And if you don't believe that, you can literally track it. I mean, look at all this sell side that people wanted out. That's why I'm going to go exactly with them just in case there's a rejection. Of course, I'm hopeful for the follow through, but that's why if you have the ability to scale, like if you're trading multiple contracts, like that's exactly why you do it. 100% that's why you do it, just for these types of things. But where am I at? Basically, well, no, I'm green. I think if this risk gets hit, it would technically be a small loss on the day, 15,300. How much have I locked in? Okay, yeah, I'd be barely. So basically, at this point, worst case scenario, this risk gets hit, which it looks like it's about to. I did officially dig myself out of the hole. So I started off my very first trade down 1,400. So it seems now slowly but surely digging myself out of that hole. And so worst case scenario, slightly red if this gets hit. Wait, maybe more than slightly? I think it would be down by maybe $200 or something like that. So I don't know. I'm hoping we get this follow through. It's going to be what it's going to be. As long as I don't fuck with my risk, I'm fine. That's when I know that like I'm on tilt and doing dumb shit, is when I have my risk and then I do this classic thing where I'm like, you know what? We're going to give it more room. Those are the times that I know I'm about to get fucking goosed. Like the amount of journal entries that I have of my own trading where it's somewhere along those lines of like, yo, why the fuck did you move your risk? You had such a good risk point. You try to give it a little bit more room, and then the little bit more room, it goes, and then all of a sudden, like, stop me if you've done this before, but I guarantee you if you've traded long enough, you've done this where, okay, it starts to come down, and you're like, you know what? Actually, I'm going to use this low down here because that's VWAP. You start to reason like why you're giving yourself more room. And then guess what? It gets down there. And then all of a sudden you move it even more, or you just delete it. And then you start like absolutely praying for a bounce back. Dude, the amount of times I've done that and it just costs me so much money. We're like, no, I want to give it a little bit more leeway. It takes that leeway and then you get even more, or you just like completely cancel your stop, dude. That is the worst. So for whoever needs their daily reminder today, I'm telling you, when you see that risk, You set the risk and you do everything in your power to stick to it. Like, this is your daily reminder. And even if you're an experienced veteran trader, if you're brand new, you have to battle that stuff every day. Folks, I've been doing this now for over a decade, and like, you still always have to battle it. Always have to battle it. This is a game of just protect your downside. Protect it. And what's crazy about it is you could be great for weeks on end, and then there's that one day that, I don't know why. Maybe it's just because the sun's up in the air. Maybe it's because you fought with your wife. Maybe it's because you didn't, I don't know, maybe your sports team didn't win the basket hoops game. Whatever it is, there's that one day that you're like, oh, I'm just going to give it a little bit more room because you want that dopamine hit of the green trade. And that is inevitably the day that not only did you top ticket, but it's just going to completely waterfall against you. It's the market is a vicious bitch like that. And if you give it the opportunity to blow you out, like if you are offering the market the opportunity to completely fuck you over, it 100% will. 100% will. So I don't know. I feel like I go through these patches where like I'm super disciplined, but see, that's the thing is like it just takes one misstep to fuck it all up. You can't just be disciplined 99% of the time. You literally have to be disciplined 100% of the time, because as I said, inevitably the 1% of the time that you are not disciplined, that's the time that the market's going to come for you. 100%. 100%. And in reality, what time is it? It's 10:50. These are probably my final trades of the day. Obviously, I want this one to get locked in so I can move my stop to break even. And then I'm just going to leave this runner. That's my reach target on the day. And the stop's going to be break even. And ideally, I am done for the day, because another thing that I've studied about myself, or really specifically the systems that I trade, the edge pretty much decays. It comes back a little bit in the afternoon, like late afternoon past 2 p.m., but I know it's pretty much non-existent midday. So that's another telltale sign that I'm like completely fucking things up, is when I'm like trying to rip trades at like 12 or 12:15, where like the edge is like literally truly non-existent. It's so silly. It's so fucking dumb that I do that. But I guess what can I say? I'm a degenerate. I'm a degenerate. I should probably seek help. 5, 10, 30. Okay, that's bullish. 5, 10. Okay, that's all bullish. Mag 7 flow, high of the day. SPY still trending down. Not the biggest fan of that. NASDAQ popped flat. It could look better. So I'm not liking this at all. I want the SPY to catch. I want 0 DTE call buyers to step in, so we have the shot of this trend line bounce right here. We still have not gotten out of this flag. We have a little bit of a bull flag going on, and look at touch. There is support right here. 6440, big open interest level. It's the bottom of the transition zone. We have the closing value at 39, technical support, and we have yesterday's low at 38. So right here, this is a support area. No one who trades would be surprised if you're like, hey, it bounced, it broke there, and like, why did it bounce there? That's a crazy area. No, like no one would think this is a crazy area for it to bounce. So is it going to bounce? Your guess is as good as mine, but I'm telling you, if it does start to bounce, you might have a low risk opportunity where you can risk the 1041 low. You're playing for the breakout of the 1045 high, and then you're targeting really the 1026 high. So this is an interesting technical play just because the risk reward is pretty decent. Right here. This is your risk reward. Or hang on. The risk reward is something like that. And that's just really, you could use that as your first target. What is that? Open, quantity, amount. I don't know what these amounts are. Target, 5. Stop, 3. Okay, so it's a 5 to a 3.5. So that's not bad. Risk reward ratio, 1.43. And that's your first target. Of course, after that, you have the other important level at 450, and then you have the top of the transition zone. So just calling that out, because minimal risk. The game is about minimal fucking risk. If you can continually take minimal risk trades, that means you only rarely need a nice winner to be able to pay for it, because you're only taking little paper cuts when you are wrong. That it's hard to do and stay disciplined to it day in and day out, but if you put all your effort and focus and discipline into doing that, Well, congratulations. You'll probably be a successful trader. You'll probably be a freaking successful trader. Don't forget, Spot Gamma. Use that link pinned to the top of chat. This is Spot Gamma here. I use it for all my options analytics. 80% off if you use that link pinned to the top of chat. And they're about to be rolling out with a new product that I'm very, very excited about. They've been tweeting about it a little bit. You can kind of get it, some ideas. I believe they are doing a stream tomorrow to kind of explain it. So feel free to check out their socials. And then also, I think there's multiple streams. I think there's one tomorrow. And then I think they have some even the week after. So I think there's going to be multiple for it. In the UK, there's currently a petition to oust the mayor of London. Hey, that's neat. Oh, is it because... Wait, is that because people are getting stabbed, or is that because of the pickpocket thing? I recently found out that there's this like whole wildness of people in Europe are fine with pickpocketing, but they're like kind of filming videos of people in America getting pissed off and like kind of beating the shit out of people who are stealing from them. First of all, why are people in Europe okay with pickpocketing? Like, why is that a thing? And like, why is it a bad thing if you beat the shit out of the person who's trying to pickpocket you? I'm seeing all these like videos of this like younger girl was trying to pickpocket a mom, a tourist, and like it was her passport, it was her credit cards, and she like held her till she gave it back, and everyone was like, well, why would she do that? What the fuck do you mean, why would she do that? She was stealing her shit. What do you mean, dude? Like, what the fuck? Many things: theft, stabbings, race wars. It seems like we all have problems these days. Feels like we all very much have problems these days. Dude, Tesla, catch a bid, dude. Palantir's looking nice. Nvidia's looking nice. Netflix, nothing. MicroStrategy, nothing. Meta's looking decent. Apple, decent recovery. Coin. Yeah, I would say intraday, Palantir and Nvidia are looking real good. Looking real good. Oh, brother. Oh, brother. Oh, brother. Oh, brother. Oh, brother. I'm thinking about, do I want to move my risk up? What's the ATR right now? ATR is 11 points. 50 back down to 25 is 2 plus ATR. 2 plus ATR. Oh, we're having an issue, a clear issue at this 50 level. There weren't even that many people trying to sell. Jesus. Like, there's definitely some people trying to sell, but that just led to a cascade for seemingly no reason, man. What gives? I mean, generally, when you see that hard of a hit, it was because, like, a huge amount of size was trying to get out, and there wasn't. Like, there was a chunk, but not that much. Jesus. Someone's hitting it. Did something... Is this like a turn of the hour trade or something like that? Like, what the hell just happened? Yeah, overall, still pretty much range bound. Nothing too special. It just, I guess, felt aggressive because we went from 50 down to 27. We just dropped 25 points in like a minute. And then it bounces right back. But overall, once again, just to stress this, we are range bound. Like, clearly, we're in a range within a larger range. We're just not really trending right now. Nvidia is trending. Palantir is trending. Mag 7 is trending. SPY was trying to... Did they buy... Oh, finally, they did start to buy some calls there. Look at... Okay, so starting at 10:51, the 0 DTE calls are once again waking back up. They are. And hey, for anyone who took this trendline breakout, not a bad trade. You could be very conservative and risk the bars low of the breakout, or you could risk like one of the recent, like, so basically you could risk either 39, 39, 38, 37, somewhere. Obviously, you're just picking one of these recent lows as your risk. But it did officially break out, trendline breakout in phase with a larger trend. You definitely have an options flow that's a little bit more bullish than it is bearish. Granted, it's not the most bullish we've ever seen, but I would argue it is a bit more bullish than anything else. The only thing I don't necessarily like today is that out of the gate, large players were kind of net sellers. I wish they were net buyers today. That's the one thing that I'm not really in love with. The other thing I'm not in love with is the fact that we're still in the range of the bar created by Jerome Powell's speech. right here. So here, let me mark out the highs and lows. So this is the 10-minute bar created by PAL. And as you can see, we tried to get out of it yesterday and got smacked right back into it. And as of today, we're still in it. So we kind of had this like 50-esque percent retracement, but we're having a tough time. We are very much having a tough time. I guess the way you could track the overall breakout on the SPY, you could do the same thing here on the NASDAQ. This might be an interesting multi-day trend to pay attention to. Because yes, we have higher lows, but over the past 2 trading sessions, we've had lower highs. So you might want to track this downsloping trend line. Speaking of that, speaking of downsloping trend lines, I think my position's about to get hit. Well, that's not cool. Even in the Mag 7's looking fine. I think I'm about to get tagged out. I think your boy's about to get tagged out here. Come on. Don't do that to me. Don't do that. No, no, no. No, no, no. If this does happen, obviously it's going to be a small, manageable loss on the day. Way better than the 1,500 I was down at market open. So, potentially not really fully digging myself out of the hole today, but I made the hole a lot less deep. A lot less deep. And who knows? Maybe I'll get lucky, and maybe some big buyer is going to step in right now, and it's not going to wick me out on this. Come on. Come on. Or I could just take the fact that I'm green on the day and be like, yo, I was down 1,500. Thank you. But if I did that, that would be trading just the portfolio number rather than the actual system, which I try to very much not do. Sometimes it's smart for your own, I don't know, psychology, and other times it tends to be dumb. This is frustrating because I'm looking at it and I'm doing all that reasoning of like, okay, like, are you being smart? Or are you being dumb? Like right here, I have the opportunity to pretty much get out for break even on the day after being down 1,500 per account. And I could take it, and I probably should because it's so close to hitting this that the odds of it hitting it are actually pretty high. So it's like, okay, well, why be down 300 when you could just be out for break even on the day? But the system says hold it because we didn't actually break that low. So like the way you shouldn't get out and take your profits early, you shouldn't get out and take your losses early. Like the system's the system for a reason. That's why you've back tested it, and that's why you know all the stats and figures for that system. I'm kind of just praying that support comes in at 520 here. There are buyers protecting it at 19. Is my big head blocking this? There are right here. 20. Oh, and they just moved up. Oh, wait, hang on. I might get saved here. They had it at 19 and then aggressively moved it up to 26. Some of them got filled. They're actually getting filled as we speak. That's some aggressive buying. Technically, it's sitting passive orders. But the fact that they keep moving it up and they're trying to get these fills. Oh, am I going to get lucky? Yes, no, maybe so. Yes, no, maybe so. Yes, no, maybe so. Yes, no, maybe so. I'm just hoping that there's not so many sellers that they overwhelm that and then still dump it anyway. Obviously, I'm looking for this recovery above 40 and 45, these recent wicks here. You could see the zone. Yeah, someone's already kind of showing some intent to sell here at 40. Those buyers are stepping back in, though, at 22. What? Huh. I just hope this can actually hold. Let's hope that they don't pull these orders. Let's hope that they don't. They pulled some of them. Well, they didn't pull them. They actually got filled. Someone wanted to buy at 22.50, and they definitely got a fill. Rut-row. Yeah, 40 would be the upside target. 10 to 12 would be the downside target. And my stop's right above that. Fuck. See, this is when you start to do the rationalizing where just don't do it. Sometimes you get lucky, other times you get unlucky. When it comes to the market, half the time you get lucky, the other half of the time you don't get lucky. Your goal is to just make sure you don't blow out in the 50% of the time that you're unlucky, which means you got to keep your bet sizing in check, because that is what screws you over. Generally, it's going to be your bet sizing that screws you over more than your strategy. A lot of people basically approach the market with no strategy and then bet way too large, as in way too big of a percentage of their account. That is the most common thing of why people blow out. When in reality, even if you have no strategy, generically, you're going to be right half the time and wrong half the time. So if you can keep your bet sizing small enough, theoretically, you'll at least coast sideways. But people don't like to do that. People like to bet way, 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 way too much. Speaking of luck, I might be getting a little lucky right here. I might be. Should I move it up just to save myself a little bit more money? This is, I think 25 is pretty much my break even on the day. If we're above 525, my account will be net positive. Maybe it's 26. I don't know. It's somewhere right around here. It's right around 25 or some shit like that. I would love to get my stop to that, just so I know if I get stopped out, at least I didn't lose money today. And I'm going to take that as a huge win, being I created a system that lost me money right out of the gate for absolutely no reason. All right. Fuck. Stop. Just break out. Break out of 30. Someone was selling there and they just, no chill. No chill at 30. Someone's really trying to sell at 47.50, by the way. Oh, they just moved it all the way up to, nope, they're moving it all over, folks. It's at 62 now. And it disappeared. Where the fuck did that go? Oh, they moved it up even higher now. Someone is trying to sell a chunk up at 69. 69. Oh, I don't know what to do. Part of me is thinking about moving my... Speaking of, speaking of 69, I was up 69 per account. Oh, brother. Fuck. Something about this doesn't feel right, Batman. Something about this one does not feel right. It's getting awfully close. A little too close for comfort. Yeah, it's coming for me. The old red bar Grim Reaper. The old red bar Grim Reaper. Well, I might as well sit here and let you guys witness my pain in real time. Might as well let you guys see me get stopped out. I'm just doing everything to fight the urge to move the stop. Just don't move it, Matthew. Matthew, you have the stop for the reason the stop is the stop. Don't move it. Don't move it. Oh, I want to so bad, though. I want to so bad. Just like, no, give it a little bit more room. What do you mean? I'll give it a little bit more room. It's, yeah, you're on the right side of the trend, you know? What's the issue? We all do it. We all do that reasoning. We all do that disastrous realization. Rationalization, not realization. The realization is to not fucking do it. But as I'm fighting the urge, as much as I want to just be like, you know what, dude? Dude, why not risk VWAP? That's not bad. You could risk VWAP, Matt. You got to move it. Move it. You guys are a bad influence. You guys are a bad influence. Yeah, dude. You don't want to get wicked out. You could always rationalize this shit. Like, look at, the buyers are at 10. Why would you put your stop at 14? The buyers are in at 10. It's going to overshoot it. Like, hit 10. It's going to hit 9. And it's going to bounce. What are you doing, man? What are you doing? Why would you put your stop? Just move it. Just give it a little bit more. It's watch this. It's going to tag 10. It's going to tag 9. It's going to stop me out, tag 10, tag 9, and then bounce right from there. You know? You should move it. You should move it. Good traders would, in fact, dude, actually, someone's trying to sell a size up at, well, they keep moving it. This order keeps moving like crazy. Oh. Excuse me. It's getting real close. Yeah, it's about to take me out. It needs a very quick turnaround here. SPY's taking too big of a hit. It's going to drag the Qs down. I feel like.
Order
there
filled.
It is. All right. All right.
Order canceled.
Dug myself out of a hole today. It was much, much worse. Much, much worse. So, hey, I'm happy that I didn't let you guys talk me into doing something silly. I knew I'd regret it. Before I let you go, first of all, remember, Spot Gamma, pinned to the top of chat in the description of the video, 80% off. They have a new product coming out very, very soon. Speaking of Spot Gamma, the SPY flow going down ever since 1023, Mag 7 going flat, NASDAQ kind of now going down after a top here at 1026. Really, the SPY and the Qs are just chilling, right? Like the SPY is pretty much at its closing value. The Qs is a little bit higher, but that's where it was quite a bit this morning. Looking at the large players, like I said, I don't like that they were net sellers on a day that we were trying to trend up. I'd prefer that gets switched over. With respect to momentum, bullish, 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 bullish. Momentum, bullish, 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 bullish. So a little bit of a mixed bag this morning, but I would say still, with that being said, more so favoring the bulls, more so still favoring the bulls, but not like evidently amazingly bullish. So I don't know, not the day. I'm upset about that first trade because I would have been massively ahead without it, but hey, sometimes shit happens. Folks, that's what I have for you. We will be posting an update video later on today. Don't forget to show a little bit of love to Spot Gamma. And remember, with all the SIMDA funded accounts, if you want to lower your own risk when you're trying to figure out this trading career, remember to use that code Goonie on Apex, Take Profit Trader, Tradeify, Funding Ticks. All of them will get you nice fat discounts. So update video coming out later today, streaming once again tomorrow morning. After the market closes tomorrow, we'll have NVIDIA, but between now and then, we are going to have a 2-year bond auction, I believe, at 1 p.m. today. So you might want to be paying attention to that. And then other than that, I think that's kind of it. I think that's kind of it for now. So remember, not all days are built the same. And right now the market is in this like awkward pause period as it relates to NVIDIA, to the inflation report this Friday, to the jobs number next Friday, as it all relates to what in the world is going on with Trump and Lisa Cook, and can the president fire someone from being a Fed governor? So lots of questions right now. And remember, when there's a lot of uncertainty, the market can shop. It doesn't necessarily like it. So remember, it's okay to sit on your hands. Cash is a position. You don't need to be forcing a trade. And if you do trade, I beg of you to stick to your exact trading plan. That's what I have for you. I appreciate all the good vibes. I'll catch you in the update video later on. Peace.